Yes, they would be. And frankly, Hillary brought up the whole thing with sexist. And all I did is reverse it on her because she's got a major problem. Happens to be right in her house. So if she wants to do that, we're going to go right after the president, the ex-president, and we'll see how it all comes out. And I feel very confident that it'll come out very well for us. I will say this, the last person that Hillary wants to run against is me.
Donald Trump on his private plane last night saying his opponents can talk about his personal life, too. This coming as he continues his attack against Hillary Clinton by bringing in Bill and his sexual history. But will Trump's strategy backfire? For more, let's welcome Katrina Pierson, national spokesman for the Trump campaign. She's Skyping in from Texas. Also joining us, radio and TV commentator Ellis Henican, who's a columnist for Newsday. He joins us from Newsmax, New York. Welcome to Newsmax Prime to both of you.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Joe.
Hey, Katrina, Donald Trump says Bill is fair game. Why is his attack fair game?
Well, I think it's quite simple, and he explained it when he said, you know, this was really her attack on him. When we're talking about Bill Clinton, most people want to think about the one thing that everybody knows about, but this is not what Mr. Trump is referring to. Bill Clinton has a history of sexist and chauvinism and abusing his power when it comes to women. So if Hillary Clinton wants to play the woman's victim card, she's going to have to do it some other way because Mr. Trump is not going to take that lightly. The Clintons know Trump personally. They know he's not a racist, a sexist, or a bigot. And I think that's why that attack stung really bad.
Hey, Ellis, I'm sorry. I put both of your first and last name together. That was interesting. When it comes to Bill Clinton, he's a former president of the United States. He's not the normal first lady or, in this case, first man wannabe. So does that make him fair game, or is the fact that Hillary is bringing up Donald Trump's past and calling him a sexist and everything, does that make him fair game, or do you think he should be off limits?
Everything is fair game. I mean, these people are running for president. Nobody has any right to say that anything is off limits. Every sordid sexual activity Donald Trump has been involved in ought to be on the table. It's honestly, it's so much better to me than this whining we've been hearing for the past month or two about, oh, this gotcha question, this is unfair, they shouldn't ask me about that. It makes them look like wimps. Donald is absolutely right. Everything on the table, starting with Donald's past.
Katrina, why do you think that Hillary Clinton is bringing Bill Clinton out so early? Is it that she's having trouble in minority communities? He was called the first black president before we had a black president. Why is it that we're seeing him 11 months early here, it seems?
Well, I think it's because, like you mentioned, she is struggling with minority voters, but more importantly, she's struggling in her own primary in New Hampshire and Iowa, and so she's trying to really solidify the base around her because she hasn't been able to bring along the constituency that her husband has. So it makes sense, and it's probably a good move for her. At the same time, when she starts attacking Mr. Trump, she needs to do so in a way that doesn't provoke him to attack back if she doesn't want to play the whole that's not fair game, because now this is her. And this is also the liberals talking about this as well.
What are you guys talking about? What are you all talking about? Trouble with minority voters. Hillary is dominant in minority voters. I mean, Bernie Sanders can barely get a black vote, right? O'Malley has maybe half a dozen. She's romping on that. And then when you
really didn't invoke the name O'Malley. You didn't invoke the name O'Malley, did you?
Just wrong.
No, listen, this is fiery. This is fiery, and I appreciate it. But I'll answer your question, Ellis. It's because she said, I'm just like your abuela to the Hispanic community, and they laughed at her. She celebrated Kwanzaa to the black community, and they laughed. Ellis, listen, they laughed at her, man. They said, you're not my abuela.
Joe,
go ahead.
Joe, if you would let me answer your question, I'll try to do so.
Okay, please.
Every single fact that we know defies the claim you're making. I understand the rhetoric. I mean, you want to try and jab at her, but every single poll out there at this point shows Hillary dominant in Latino voters, in Asian voters, and in African American voters. That's just the fact. You might not like it. But, I mean, that's what the campaign is right now.
I love you like a brother, but I got to tell you, it's not rhetoric. It's actually fact. Not my abuela was an actual hashtag.
Show me the poll.
Where's the poll? Ellis, you can jump in every single time. It doesn't make you right. Katrina, I want you to comment on this. Go ahead.
Where's the poll? Show me the poll.
Iowa and New Hampshire. Bernie Sanders is gaining traction on her. And if she does struggle in Iowa and New Hampshire, it would really hurt. Even people will stay home if it doesn't look like she's going to go anywhere. She's statistically tied with several of the top Republicans right now, including Mr. Trump, and specifically with women. She is statistically tied with women, so she has to do something to get her people out, and that's why she's bringing in her husband.
Well, what's interesting, Ellis, is that you want me to quote a poll when I'm telling you Twitter is a massive website where she was rebuked on both the the Kwanzaa comments and the I'm your abuela comments. You can't deny it. It's fact. And the thing is, Bill wouldn't be coming out this soon if he weren't so likable and she weren't so unlikable. That's what's really going on here. I'll give you the last word because you're really fired up about this. Go ahead.
Nobody is saying that Hillary has it in the bag, that she's going to get every vote. She certainly has to work very hard. There's huge questions about this election.
Right.
But you got to stick with the actual facts if you're going to trash her. And she is not having trouble. One area she's not having trouble is with minority voters. That's just a fact. Let's argue the facts.
Well, I thought I just did. But, Ellis, we always love having you on. Katrina, it's always a welcome sight to see you as well. We'll talk to you soon. Stay with us. Listen, when we come back, did the White House cross the line in allowing the NSA to spy on Congress? Well, that much more right here at Newsmax Prime.